Answering more questions from you guys still. These come from Instagram. What is the biggest myth about the music industry and mixing and mastering? Oh boy, there's a lot to unfold here. Okay, so this is kind of two different fields, right? The music industry and mixing and mastering. I will start with the easiest and shortest. This is probably gonna be a long answer. The biggest myth about mastering is probably that mastering is all about loudness. The only step, the only thing that mastering does is make a track loud. This is absolutely not what mastering is about. It's one of the many things that mastering does. Mastering in the context of an album or an EP, and that's the original definition of mastering, is making sure that all the songs are somewhat coherent and they flow one next to the other. Like imagine if you have an album and one has a gigantic low end and the next one doesn't, even given the same similar arrangement, of course. Preps the tracks for release on various formats, and most important, it enhances and in many cases hopefully makes the mixes sound better. And it's funny because anybody who does mastering for a little bit knows this. There's gonna be much more difference between a mix that is, let's say, 6 out of 10 versus a mix that is a 9 out of 10, right? Because, you know, the better the mix is, the less room for improvement the mastering has. But an average sounding mix can really like change so much with a good mastering. This is not to say that people should, you know, just, oh, let's fix it in mastering kind of mentality. You should always strive for the best you can, and ideally your mix should sound finished and ready to go out, at least for you. And that's why you need another pair of ears and another brain and another sets of skills to bring that product even higher. While a mix that is almost perfect will still need mastering to get that final loudness, because again, the loudness thing is, even if, let's say, assuming the mix is absolutely perfect, bringing it to a commercial level by maintaining the exact balance that that perfect mix has is a task on its own. Because when you bring something to a level, even if you're not shooting for crazy loud levels, will change the perception of various things. It will change the effects on the sides, will change the snappiness, the punch, the transient, and all that. So to bring a track to commercial level by maintaining the, so to speak, hypothetical perfect mix is a task on its own. So that's I think is the most, is the biggest myth about mastering, is what mastering is about. And then the second I want to say is not really a myth, is more like, I want to say kids, but some adults too, they just don't know the definition of mastering. And you see like on forums and various posts, people asking, oh, how do I master vocals? Or how do I master my beat? You don't master vocals and you don't master a beat. You master a finished song which has both in it, because mastering is the last stage. So I think these are two of the biggest myths about mastering. About mixing, there's so many, and this is the big problem with internet nowadays. And I talked about some of them definitely on the channel years ago and up until like recently, but I feel one of the biggest myths is the whole "you don't need anything" trend that has been going on for a while now. And again, that's a byproduct of the fact that people nowadays work in isolation and they learn what they find online. Unfortunately, there's so much misinformation out there, and it doesn't matter, like when people want to believe something, like you don't need gear, you don't need speakers, you don't need skills, you don't need anything, and you just can do it and be at the same level than others. When people want to believe this, there's nothing you can do. It doesn't matter the amount of proof that you put in front of their faces, they will never change their mind. It's very rare that you can change someone's mind if changing their thought means admitting that they have been doing something wrong or not in the best way possible for the past 2, 3, 4, 5 years. it's just too hard, and just people don't see it. Or that mixing is easy and you have like these 5 rules and the kick on minus this and the snare on minus that and whatever, throw a reverb and a delay and that's done. I hope this answered the question. If you have any other questions for the Q&A, leave it in the comment down below. Please consider using the super thanks and support the channel. Click the join button to access the exclusive content. Many new mix and mastering courses are coming your way. Thank you for watching. Subscribe if you haven't already. See you next time.
Hands on my neck, hands grab my throat. Lift me up, man, take control. Heart is so gone, my type. Don't you know I fall for the bad type? You play the role of an angel pretty well.